one afternoon, Tom Paris came home from work early with a Harley Davidson. No one ever dreamed that Tom Paris would want a motorcycle. Alice called Trey, their son, and said to him, "Trey, your dad came home with a motorcycle." And Trey's remark, "I couldn't have been more surprised than if he had come home and said he was taking ballet lessons."
Okay, so one of my favorite stories about my grandfather is growing up, he took us to the beach every year. But he was so sweet, he'd go down the day before and all the grandkids had to send him a grocery list. And when we get to the house, all the groceries would be in there. And it was honestly my favorite week of the year that we got to go. And he'd take us all sailing, he'd take us all on the beach. And it was just, he put family before anything. And we did the beach trip for at least 15 years. And I think I'm so close to my cousins to this day because of how he brought us together.
Well, Tommy Paris has been one of my best friends. I've known him for about 37, 38 years. Had the honor of being his preacher, but more than that, he was my friend. And one of the reasons I love Tommy, every time I went to see him and to see Alice and we had a meal, Tommy would always go down in his wine cellar and get one of those really, really nice bottles of wine that I didn't think I could afford, but he could. And a guy who will give you some of his best wine, he is a real, real friend.
In 2018, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and I feel my family made it through because of my grandfather. He was truly the glue that kept us all together. He was there for us in every way possible. He even came down to Atlanta and spent the night with my golden retriever because he knew how much it meant to me. He has always been able to put family first, and as we carry on his legacy, I hope that we each do that as well.
Well, I'm one of the fortunate people that was able to work with Tom Paris over the years. My experience was he was an ideal person, an ideal businessman, and an ideal participant in his community.
Tom was an active philanthropist. He was a board member for the Humane Society for 9 years and brought a CEO's vision of the financials and strategic planning to the organization. When he first joined the Humane Society in 2010, the Humane Society was in financial struggles. But with his leadership and the help of other board members, the Humane Society not only survived but thrived. With our surgical center in dire need of an upgrade, Tom envisioned bringing the most up-to-date equipment and technology that would ensure the Humane Society could provide these life-saving surgeries for decades to come. Thanks to Tom's vision and a signature gift from the Paris family and the generosity of other donors, the Paris Family Surgical Center opened in October of 2018. Tom was a quiet leader, very generous, and he saw the advantages of investing his time and talent back into the community. He was a true difference maker, and he will be sorely missed.
My grandfather gave all 4 grandchildren a quote to live by, and I loved it because it applied to no matter if we were playing team sports, which he encouraged, being with friends, being with family. And the quote was, "Act like you've been there before." And the perfect analogy he gave is when the Georgia football player was doing a dance in the touchdown and broke his ankle. And he said that he's not acting like he's been there before. No matter if you're in the end zone or meeting your future husband's family for the first time, you act like you've been there. You make sure you're grateful and you're appreciative and you're humble at the same time.
After the final meeting when I had accepted the job at Brenau University, and we were invited to go to the Old Country Club for dinner. And we sat beside Tom and Alice. We all had a very pleasant evening, and when we were leaving, Tommy said, "I need to talk to you a minute." And so Pat, in her own way, was able to talk to other people. Well, he took me aside and he said, "Jack, I need a check for $1,750 from you. Can you write it tonight?" And I said, Tommy, I don't even have my checkbook with me, but why? And he said, oh, well, we want you to join the country club. And I said, well, doesn't Bernal join the country club? Oh, no, we only allow individuals to join this country club. And I looked at him and I said, you're serious, aren't you? And he said, yes. And you know, he got that check.
But he was just a great businessman. He retired, and then he built this business with storage, and he had to be working. And what a businessman, successful, generous, and a fun guy. I call him Tomcat, and he called me the Reverend. We never used our names, so Tommy, I consider one of my best friends, and all of us miss him dearly.
Out of all my grandfather's accomplishments, I feel like he would say he's most proud of his family, and we owe that to him. He's always been so supportive in any journey that we want to take, whether it be education, moving to New York, moving to DC. He's always been our biggest cheerleader. And to this day, I think it's because of the lessons and the morals that he put into the family.
He was always striving for what I think is the greater goal, to do something that's positive for the community while doing something that was positive for his business. So I consider myself fortunate to have been one of the people that got to learn from Tom Paris.
Papa, we miss you and we love you so much, and thank you for what you've given our family.